Yes, good evening to everybody. The master students of mine, those who are going to write the research proposal. Then yesterday they did the first class, and it's a continuation for the yesterday class to today class. And please read what I posted on the screen so that I could know that you are with me and I am with you. Both are traveling the same boat. Anyone can unmute and read what I posted on the screen. The same thing which I made it yesterday, the good evening to the students of masters. You are welcome. And this is about the writing the research proposal. Second part is concerned. Yesterday I dealt the introduction part, background of the problem, and statement, background of the problem. Then I think that we made the statement of the problem that we are going to deal today. If I not be mistaken. Yes. So we dealt yesterday two of them. Yeah. What are the two of them? We can just recapitulate it. Introduction, that we made it, what are the components should be present in the introduction. Then we made it background to the problem. Then we are going to make the statement of the problem. In the statement of the problem, what are the components should be present over there that we see it. In the statement of the problem, the supervisor will give you a head to their respective supervisee on whether the title is researchable or otherwise after carefully, deeply examining the part of the research proposal. So if the viability is there or not, we discussed in the introduction. And here we can say whether one can proceed with the research work or not. Also, we can be seen here. It is also important to note that the statement of the problem should consider the position of the law in various aspects. The problems would be there, how far it will be relevant to the different laws, including the domestic laws, as well as to the international instruments or the international law also, or other foreign country law, which are definitely of very contemporary in nature. This is due to the fact that the legal system has been drastically changed from time to time. The legal system, if you see earlier how it would be there, now how it would be there, because the system should have to change depending on the change of the society is concerned. Earlier we did not see the hacking, stalking, cyber squatting, but now you can say cyber thefts are there. Is it not the change because of the digital world? Yes, technological development will be there, then the nature of the offenses also will be changed. So the drastical change we will find from time to time. And the old rules, what are the old rules have been replaced by new ones. There is the reason that Information Technology Act 2000 is made, because some of the sections of the IPC will not cover it regarding the cyber theft is concerned, and hence a new act is made to see the demand of the people and the offenses to curb. Eventually, existing gap in the laws have been accommodated. Whatever the laws will be there, that will be accommodated, the gaps will be filled, or a new legislation will be passed also there. In line of this, the very newly rules have been also been installed to the current legal system. So by doing like that, a new system will be established over there, that all things will be done in the statement of the problem, which they were now were covered under the applicable statutes. If the statutes will not say now, at that instance, the new law would be enacted for that regard. To state briefly, for instance, before 1980s, Tanzania legal system lacked the member of the important rules. Yes, it is true. Which later introduced to suit the modernity. The new laws will be followed over there. Today, there are emerged several new rules in areas like environmental law is there, and rules are there, intellectual property is there, human rights is there, ADR is there, even cyber torts or cyber crimes also there. Emergency of these rules have created a chance to the researcher to conduct the more research study to inform the general and what exactly the surface on these new rules. Because earlier, the teleconference will not be allowed as there, but because of the pandemic, now everything will be the online. Hence, an expert from the USA can give the expert opinion on the teleconference or on the any platform, social media platform, either you say Zoom or you can say Cisco Webex or you can say Google Meet or any other platform which is developed over there. There we can take it into consideration. Yes, it will be recorded, because even the Supreme Court and other courts in India especially, they made online hearing and online judgment also. Is it not the change is made over there? A new laws will be covered because in the earlier the Evidence Act will not cover it, but now the Evidence Act will be taken into the relevant consideration, or relevant proof, or relevant thing, even the teleconference also. Usually the components have to be considered the part are as follows. What are the components should be there? Number one, absence of the law. Suppose there is no any legislation in that regard and the topic that we are going to choose it. So that you have to see there is absence of the law would be there, or the law is there but it will not satisfy the conditions, or it doesn't have the teeth, and either we can say the implement machinery is not that much enough, and hence the new law should be made, or the executive machinery, that is the implement machinery, should be strengthened. Even that also we can emphasize by doing such a research. So these are the things would be there. So what would be the new law would be there? It should be considered. Arresto anosise caribusana. So absence of law is there. That is one of the factor, and inefficiency of the law. Of course, law is there, but it's an inefficiency, means it doesn't have the teeth. Or if the law is very good, but the implementation is poor, then you have to strengthen the implementation machinery. So that's the point we can consider it. Third bullet is implementation and enforcement of law. How that if the law is there but no implementation at the time, what are the measures should be taken to implement such a law, and which will benefit to the society. And the last point is court interpretation of such a law may be wrong. Suppose if the court says, for instance, at the time Government Proceeding Act was there in Tanzania, the Fiat, FIEAT, Fiat, especially Section 6, the court said it is null and void, Government Proceeding Act, because Fiat is there. Excuse me. Fiat in the sense, the government should have to give the permission to sue the government. Can any government will give the permission to sue its own? Now they changed it. They say, give the notice to the government. If the government will not give the reply in the 90 days, yes, you can file a case against the government because you fulfill the condition, but Fiat is not necessary now in the Government Proceeding Act to file a case against the government in Tanzania. So that is the statement of the problem, where the four components should be present. What the first component is, absence of law is there, or whether the law is there but in inefficient law. Okay, law is there and everything would be there, but the implementation is, enforcement is poor. And the next is what the court will decide it, whether it is a wrong or right, whether it is against the constitution of the law of the land or not. If any law which is contravention with the constitution of any country, then it is a null and void. So that is the way that we can make it out a statement of the problem. Participants, are you hearing me? Say yes or no. Aristo, Anosise,
Yes, Prof.
on your video, you just close the video because the signals may be weak. You close the video and unmute and read what is the significance of the study. Did you see my screen?
Yes, I see. Basically, the researcher has to indicate in this part of the research study as to
not
how
physically, basically.
Basically, the researcher has to indicate in this part of the research study as to how this study or research is important. The finding of research would be helpful, in particular to the students, scholars, legal practitioners, and the judiciary, in addition to that in general to the nation.
Yes. So now the significance of the study goes in this manner. How? Basically, the researcher has to indicate, he has to show in his part of the research or study as to how this research study is important. He has to always say, my goods are very good. Then only people will purchase it. If you don't show that your goods own defect, do you think that another person will purchase the goods?
Okay.
You always say that my research is number one research because that will be useful to the country. and useful to the society, and you have to prove it. And that's the reason, and it's important factor, this research, because the lacunae would be there, the gap would be there, and that gap will be fulfilled in the existing law, or the law is there, but in efficiency, and hence, or the law is there and it is efficient, but the executive machinery is inefficient at the time that you can emphasize on that manner. And that's why you can show that my research is very important. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
The finding of research should be helpful. What are the findings of the you should find helpful in particularly to the who? Students, scholars, legal practitioners, judiciary, in addition to that, general to the nation. Is it or not?
Okay. Yes, it is, Prof.
Of course, we can do the research also if some foreign company or foreign foundation is sponsored it. Yes, we can do the research, but that is a commercial research. It is not for getting the partial fulfillment of the degree of master's, or it is a fulfillment of the degree of the PhD. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Yes, when you are writing the research proposal for the getting the funds, yes, definitely you have to write the time frame and the amount will be spent over there, and the graph should be given. And but when you are writing the research proposal or concept paper, at that instance, definitely you have to show the chapterization, questionnaires, and what way that you want to complete it, qualitative research or quantitative research, doctrinal research or non-doctrinal research or empirical studies. All this you have to make it very much clear in your proposal itself only, because the proposal is the sketch and how do you proceed. So in the general study, you have to make it out that, yes, what is the importance of the research and who will be benefited by your research? Students, scholars, legal practitioners, judiciaries, or in general the state. Then that is the significance of the study. Then objective of the study. What is the object which will made you to study that particular proposal? It is important to understand many researchers confused with this part. Why? And eventually they write a total different thing from what they are really intended. Objectives.
Okay.
Why you have to do? What is the object that you want to achieve it? The confusion appears in getting the meaning of the two words. Example, object and objectives. Object and objectives. Objectives, attaining things. Object, a particular thing which you are going to get it. The two mentioned words are totally different in meaning. What is the two words?
Object and objective.
Very good. And experience shows that many researchers write the former to mean the later, and where the certainly absolutely improper and it's a study. See, discovering is different, invention is different. Am I right?
Yes.
Discovered means already it existed over there, but you found it. But invention, you found it, you made it.
Okay.
Is it or not?
Yes, it is.
So that is the difference in the object and objectives. To make the points clear in terms of their distinction and how they mean and differ from another in the research context. Let us say, by object means an intention. What is an object? It is an intention.
And yes.
But while objective means it is a motive. See, motive is different, intention is different. But
Different.
ulterior intention is motive. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes.
Ulterior intention is motive.
Intention. Yes, you have said what? Intention is motive.
Moisho.
Yes, ulterior motive. Yes,
Ulterior intention means what you are going to get the intention. Ulterior. That is the
open intention.
Motive. Is it or not?
Yes, it is, Prof.
Ulterior intention is a motive. And to do something, the researchers, while carrying out their respective research studies, are in this case obliged to do what? We will see it. and obliged to concentrate on the second word, objective. Means what is the motive? And using this word
Okay.
contextually will give you a real meaning of what objective of the study is all about in a research study. Now you tell me, what is the objective of your marriage? Why do people marry?
Is to have a family. They need to have a family.
The continuity of the family would be their progeny.
Yes.
Progeny will say Progeny means after you, your son or your daughter.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That is a cycle. Suppose if your father don't marry, do you come into the existence?
No.
Answer no. So it is a progeny that is an objective, and it's a biological satisfaction, and the people will take care of you when you are in old age, and everybody knows that one day you are going to die because our grandfather died, our father died, even our brothers died, even our sisters died, and one day we will also die. Sir, when you die, no, why should you study LLM, sir? Don't think in that way. Till your death,
Okay.
till your death, have the desire. If the desire is out, your life is out. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes, it is very clear.
I not only teach subject, I teach the morality also. And very useful things
Thank you.
also. Hence, don't miss my class.
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
So,
You taught me
every
this.
place, there is an objective.
Yes.
And that object, you see, even one student also there, I will teach because it's my commitment.
Yes.
And by teaching, I enrich myself.
Yes.
So that is a general objective. And that is the objective. And now we'll see what is general objective. So when you see general objective, to attempt this part well, a number of components must be considered as indicated here and there. What are the components in general objective? Read the first bullet.
What is going to happen when a particular research study is completed?
Yes. What is going to happen when a particular research study is completed? Does it bring a good thing? Does it useful to the society? Does it useful to the students? Does it useful to the academicians, practitioners, judiciary, state, or international? Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, second bullet.
What the researcher is going to achieve in conducting the research study he or she is doing.
Yes. How it will be useful. The second point is what he is going to achieve it by conducting it. Why you are studying LLM? What is your aim to achieve it?
I'm studying LLM for various reasons. First of all, is to enhance my performance at my job place, to add some knowledge and to add value to what I'm doing regularly at my work. So those are the objectives that I intended to achieve out of
Suppose
the
if you are a
LLM.
government employee, there will be an increment.
Yes, there would be. Definitely.
Yes. And you feel very proud that you did the LLM and you have some command over the over the law.
Yes.
And you can compete with the other examinations also.
Pardon?
You can compete with the other examinations.
Yes.
And it will be useful to the nation.
Yeah, it will be useful because I'm a public servant. So whatever I'll be doing, given that I'll be using the knowledge that I gained while I'm studying my LLM, the nation will benefit because the output will be of quality.
Yes.
And yeah.
Strengthen the nation.
Pardon?
So strengthen the nation.
To strengthen the nation, yes.
And the third point is what the research study is going to change in the current legal system related to the research study intended to be carried out. Suppose if you carry such a thing, what changes it is going to come? And what articles should be or sections should be amended? And how it could be having an impact on the legal system, both substantive as well as the procedural. So they're going to change the current legal system. So this is the general objective where we can say relating to the research study is concerned. And most importantly, objective of the study is divided into two main parts. Research study, especially legal research study, there are general objective and there are specific objective. So it is, however, important to bear in mind that two objectives are interdependent on many ways. See, when you say general objective, there are many variables should be there. What are the variables we can say in the specific objective? Equally, general objective of the research study should always be source of other specific objective. So general objective comes from the specific objectives in the research study. Putting in the another form, and I give the example also here. Specific objective should always be generated from elements of the general objective in the research study. Because to achieve the general objective, the specific objective are the important factors. From the specific objective only we can reach to the general objective. To give a clear illustration, though it may not be relevant for a legal research study, but definitely it will be very much useful for the researcher to understand what is the general objective, what is the specific objective. So I give an example. Read the example.
The government demonstrators in order to maintain peace.
Government has shot demonstrators in order to maintain peace.
Yes, government has shot demonstrators in order to maintain peace.
Do you think the government will shot? Police will shot. That means, but how the police will start? They will get a command from their higher authorities. Because the police duty is to keep the law and order. And at the time, they can use the power. So the statement is, the government has shot demonstrators in order to maintain peace. So when you're shooting, there is a procedure is there. What is the procedure in shooting?
First, the procedure in shooting, first of all, you should not target the demonstrators. There should be some form of assault first.
The first and foremost is they don't give the order for the shooting. First, they will lathi charge. They will beat with the canes. If the demonstrations are very much strong, they use the
tear gas.
Gas vapors.
Yeah.
So the demonstration will be dispersed. Even though they are not dispersed, as the order will come, they first shoot in the air. First they shoot in the air. If the demonstrator will not move it, they keep the nozzle to the legs chini. Even though if they not move it, they will raise the nozzle. What is nozzle? Gun point. The front mouth where the bullet will come out. From the legs down earth, and slowly, kidogo, pole, they will raise it. By that time, I don't think the demonstration will be present over there. Even when they fire in the air, half of the people know, many of the people run away from there. So here, maintaining peace. Why they are doing so? What is their objective?
Yes.
What is the objective of a police or government?
In maintaining peace.
Peace. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
No, why they are shooting, you tell me. Because the mob is unruly and they are spoiling the public furniture and they are beating the people, they are damaging the cars and the passerbys,
Yes.
and they are looting the shops, are breaking the shops doors and making the havoc. And hence they want to maintain the peace. And hence they give such an the objective is maintaining of the peace. What is the general objective?
The government has shot
No, no, general objective
demonstrators
is maintaining of the
maintaining peace.
peace.
Yes.
No, why the government has shot? To maintain the
To maintain the peace.
peace. So that is a general objective. So now you tell me, when you achieve the general objective, how you can achieve maintaining the peace? What are the variables should be there? Only gun.
Yes.
Only gun you can maintain the peace.
No.
You can use your stick. You can use your shield. You can use the horses. You know horses will be used.
Yes.
You know the horse will gallop it and they will kick you.
I know the horse.
So they can use the lathi, means cane. They can use the horse. They can use the vapor gas. And the lastly, they can use the gun. So what are the variables?
Yes.
What are the variables to achieve the maintaining the peace? Number one, cane. Number two, horses. Number three, vapor gas. Number four, rifle or gun.
Gun.
So specific objective is having a composed such a here and above indicated general objective of the research study, then the follows the composition of the specific objective of the research study, in which to recall we either said the specific objective should always be generated from the general objective of the research study. To compose the specific objective of the relationship study based on the here and above indicated example of the general objective, the researcher should thus compose. The government has shot demonstrators in order to maintain peace. To achieve the what? To achieve what?
To achieve the maintaining good life
Maintaining
for its
good
citizens.
life for its citizens. Maintain the
Maintaining
tranquility in the country.
the country.
Stopping the chaotic behavior and political parties when threatening peace and order.
Yes.
Is it not their objective, specific objective?
Their specific objectives.
But how do you make the maintaining peace? We can go in the various variables also. But all these variables to achieve what?
Maintaining good life for
Maintaining
its
the good life
citizens.
for the citizens means every citizen should have to lead the peaceful life. There would not be any might is the right. A strong one cannot beat a weaker one. A tajiri will not harass the maskini. A business tycoon could not harass the ordinary man. And maintaining tranquility in the country and the chaotic behavior and the political parties or the gundaism, the riots, these will be stopped and people will lead the life peacefully. And a woman can go even the night 12 o'clock without fear and favor. Can a woman go in Tanzania in the night alone 12 o'clock? Give me the answer. Give me the answer.
No, sir.
In the daytime, if a woman goes alone in a street, they try to snatch away their chain or bag or any gold ornaments, or they will sexually harass, or they will pinch at the back, or they press in the front for the gratification. Is it clear?
Yes.
Suppose if everybody is having the fear that if you just touch a woman, it's enough, your hand will be chopped. Can anyone will touch? Answer no. Even dream also, he cannot touch a woman. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Suppose if you make a sexual harassment for a woman or a girl and having a sex with her or the rape with her, the punishment is castrate the testicles. What do you say in Kiswahili? Khasi fasi. Nini sema?
To castrate or
Imbili pumbu.
hey.
Nini sema Kiswahili?
Uko sahihi.
Khasi.
Yes.
The word is khasi. It's Arabic word. Can anyone will dream of even to do the rape for a woman? Even dream also he cannot make it out. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, of course. We don't say because in what occasion, whether she motivated her or he motivated him, and who is that fault, we don't know. Are you following me?
Yes, yeah.
So now you tell me, a general objective is there a statement, and the statement you will make it out to achieve what is the outcome. We have to give the free education in the Tanzania for the students. What they are going to achieve it later? Yes. The free education should be given to the students of Tanzania. Why the government want to achieve it? What the goal government is having? If you make every person educated, at that instance, he knows about his rights and he knows about how to live and he knows how to maintain the dignity, and he will see that nobody will make monopoly on him. And that is the reason they say, don't give the money, give them education, and the nation become a strong nation. Am I right?
Hello?
Yeah,
Is it or not?
it is, Prof.
It
Also, the
is.
voice is too low.
Yes, please. Somebody saying something.
He said the voice is too low.
The voice is too low. Oh, okay. But in the recording, my voice is so much sonorous, like a Simba. Sio kama paka. So anything which a general objective would be there, the general objective having the
Appreciate
variables.
it.
On that variables it will work and it will be achieved. And people will become thief. What are the variables? Why the people become thief? What are the base? Number one, people are poor, hence they will steal. and they become thief. Number two, it is the nature of a people to steal it even though they have the money. It is the basic instinct, psychological phenomena. Number three, he did not have food for the more than 3 or 4 days. And that's why he stolen the bread. And he caught out and he said, okay, I will work. That is the third variable. And stealing, having the base of it. So what is the achieving it? He will fulfill his hunger. Or even though he did not fulfill his hunger, he will give the stealing property of the loaf or bread to the children, those who are starving. Sometimes the people say they steal from the rich and distribute to the poor. Is it a good way? Answer no. You cannot force any person. Steal them and distribute in the, you are not a law and order. The government would be there, they will make the taxes, by the taxes they will help the poor student, poor people. So for every general object, there are, dependent on the different variables are there to achieve a particular goal. So that is the thing, we will find the general objectives and we will find the specific objective. Now the literature review. In the literature review, you find it a topic who has written a book, a journal, an article, a newspaper, or comments, reports, thesis, dissertation, and you read it. Once you read it, and where he missed the thing which you want to show it, and that should be specified in your literature review. So a literature review is a very complicated as well as a confusing part to many researchers conducting the research study. It is also, on the other hand, a simple one of the researchers knows how best to make it out. Again, how simple, complicated, confusing it is. It depends upon the number of factors, including but not limited to much information the researchers are acquired from the different sources and information such as books, journals, encyclopedias, dictionaries, website materials, authentic sources, but don't take from the Wikipedia because it is editable. Don't take the source from the Wikipedia, it is a weak source, and so on. And also those materials as written as well as presented while writing this part. Yes, you can take sometimes newspaper items if it is authentic one and delivered by an expert. Or it is indeed important that while preparing the literature review of the research study, two concepts should be also be employed. Number one, the two concepts actually help and indicate how the researchers have done a literature review part. The concepts are, number one, theoretical, another is operational review. Theoretical, what he said, and practical, operational review is practical. Practical review, how it can be made. In each case, the researcher has to indicate in the work how each of the above aspects have been accordingly applied in the research proposal. If the theoretical review is there, what is the practical review? The theoretical statement is, a Muslim man can marry the 4 wives. A theoretical review is, a Muslim man can marry the 4 wives. That is the theoretical. What about the practical? Participant.
Yes.
Theoretical. A Muslim man can marry the 4 wives. Then what is the practical?
Practically one wife.
Practical.
One wife.
Even one wife he could not control it. And how could he expect that the 4 wives? The reason is economic factor. Number one. Number two, biological factor also. Are you following me?
Yes,
Yes.
Prof.
and the standard of living also. If the 4 wives are there, for each year one issue comes over there, that fellow will die. In issue, if the twins are there, again it is a hell. So practically is different, theoretically is different. Yes, at the time it is allowed by Prophet Muhammad because of the war, many men were died, and these women become a commodity and sexually abused over there. So Prophet Muhammad said, don't sexually abuse such a woman who is very beautiful. Get it married. We will give the permission to you. Okay, you can marry. Up to 4. So that they could have their livelihood. They have the husband. They have the shelter. And there will not be any prostitution. So depending upon the status at the time, it will be allowed. But now, 1 is equivalent to 4. Am I right?
Yes.
So in this aspect, this is a theoretical review. But the practical review is no one can marry more than 1. Am I right?
Yes.
So this research study
Yes,
was
Prof.
conducted by the Suleiman Amir Suleiman, and his research he wrote what
Prof, are you?
with reference to the above hint, researcher may also write what author or writer has written by quoting what is written or paragraph manner in quotation style. In quotation, you cannot change it. The same as it is, you have to write it. In the theoretical. And what the ideas they are intended, you have to make it very much clear. And what you want to show and how you are different from that author, you have to make it out. The author did not cover this area, and hence the researcher would like to cover, and hence the research is taken up. So that idea would come over there. And the operation review also the same. The researcher has to indicate the literature review, how practical the author as writer, he uses his or reference, has done such a referred research. Whether there is a practicality is there or not, or only theoretical. Because practice is different and theory is different. So in case where he referred authors or writers used tables or not, the researcher should also clearly indicate in during the preparation of his research or proposal for the research study. So a research can be done only after the literature review. You did it. When once you did it, then you can frame the hypothesis. A general hypothesis and specific hypothesis. I mean, a general hypothesis means general objective. The first one is a general objective. The second and third and fourth is a special objective. So if the general objective is one, which is going to be turned as the first hypothesis, and the specific objective, which are there 1, 2, 3, will be turned into the 2, 3, 4. Did you get my point?
Yes.
Yes,
That
Prof.
is the variables you have to make it in the hypothesis. And don't write the research questions, it's outdated. Research questions are to make you to understand how to deal the research. But people say research questions is outdated style. Hypothesis is the prompt and correct style. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, Prof.
So hypothesis plural form is hypothesis. THESES. SIS singular. Always write the singular form in the heading, subheading, and side heading. Fundamental rule. Greek word hypo means less than or under or thesis. Means an idea or general opinion of the defendant. Hypo, presumption. Thesis, general opinion. So that is called hypothesis. Means an idea formed beforehand, which has less value than generally formed view. It's a view, assumption. In other words, hypothesis is a brief summation of the research prediction of the study's findings, which may be supported or not by the outcome. So for now, you tell me, love marriages are failure marriages, or love marriages are concurrent marriages, strong band marriages. Prove both the things. You can prove also that depending upon the variables, depending upon the cited opinions of the people, you can say that love marriages are strong marriages. Did you understand my question? My prediction?
No.
Yes.
You know, there are two types of the marriages are there. Even I married, but my marriage is not love marriage. I went to their girl's house, I saw it, and they came and they saw me, and we agreed. That is called arranged marriage. Is it right?
Yes.
But the love marriage means they fall in love with each other and they say love is blind and she is imka. You know what imka?
Yes. Charcoal.
A charcoal, but she loves her because she says love is blind and block diamond. That is his attitude. And they will mingle together. The dating is there. They understanding each other. But in Tanzania, after 1 or 2 issues later, they marry. That is called
Legal
love marriage. Now, my presumption is love marriages are failure marriages. That is my hypothesis. How could you say so? Refer the people's diary. Go to the USA. You know, USA, the lady introduced to the husband, please meet my 7th husband. What the lady says? Please meet my
husband.
7th husband. Sabah.
Seventh husband.
Can India or in Tanzania will say anytime, please meet my 7th husband?
No, not even the second.
Even not even the second also. Of course,
Yes.
Chipuko, Ipo, Nini, Nani, that is a different issue. But we never say meet my second wife. Oh, okay. The first wife he died naturally, and he can marry the wife's sister. Even Muslim law allows. Because the children born, the sister's children, the sister will take care of it. If you marry another girl, if he's having the child, then the stepmother attitude would be there. Am I right?
Yes.
Hence, at that instance, we can say that she is my second wife because my first wife is died and I married to my wife's sister. And that is the case. Hence, I can make the presumption that love marriages are failure marriages. That is my hypothesis. And why it is so? What are the variables? There are many variables are there. Love marriages are lust marriages. Love marriages are blind marriages. love marriages without thinking, sio tumia bongo, bongo sio na kichwa na goti. The mind is not in the brain, if the mind is there in the knee.
Danny.
So that is my hypothesis. And some people say love marriages are fruitful marriages because they understand each other's psychology. And they will lead the life. Of course, they are maybe right. But overall, no woman is perfect, no man is perfect. Life is a question of adjustability and adaptability. Repeat.
Adaptability.
Life is a question of adjustability and adaptability.
Adaptability.
Sometimes
Yes.
my wife is angry, I will keep quiet. I never say a word. But if you retaliate, it becomes a war.
Yeah.
Just keep quiet. Or you go from your home. She cries, and she makes and she keeps quiet. But if you give the reply, it will be enraged.
Okay.
So now hypotheses are different type are there. Experimental is there, non-experimental is there, presumption is there, null hypothesis is there. So different way that hypothesis can be framed. To elaborate it further, hypothesis simply means a short statement, usually in tentative way,
Tentative way.
relating to assumptions obtained by the researcher from the information obtained as a result of reading various literature on the proposed title or topic. It's the assumption, but later on he can prove that it is a true. Or later on he can also say that it is a false. So from these explanations, it is evident that the hypothesis of the research study should always be formulated by the researchers based on the relevant information obtained for the relevant title or proposal topic of the research study, but you can frame it only when you have gone through the literature review. Then which come first? Literature review. Badai? Hypothesis. The same example I have given in the order of merit. Kwanzaa, chupi. Pili, skin tight. Atu, surwali. But if you change it, Kwanzaa, surwali. Pili, skin tight. Tatu, chupi. Then you will become a superman. Is it or not?
Yes, you are very right.
There is a sequence is there. So after literature review, hypothesis should come. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
After marriage only the conceiving should be there. Is it or not? No. First conceiving, next marriage.
It is so, Prof.
Huh?
You are right, Prof.
Yes. Taratibu means status. Stages should be there. So the researcher has to formulate the hypothesis, a research study based on the relevant information. What information that he studied in the literature review, based on that thing that he can make the assumption and he can say the statement. And in view of the above, the hypothesis of the research study must always be formulated using what the researcher has read. See, what the researcher has read means in the literature review he read and not from the researcher's brain. After reading, he can use the researcher's brain. The researcher, while formulating the hypothesis, have to show that he has found the reading various literature already consulted in the course of preparing the research proposal. So, before he is making the research proposal, and he should have the knowledge of various aspects of the authors regarding the subject which he is going to deal as a researcher. So, a researcher, while formulating or her study, Hypothesis may, for the instance, indicate the aspect of the hypothesis for the work. Thus, according to the information obtained from the number of literature consulted, the following assumptions are formulated as indicated here and there. Of course, I made the research question because research question is nothing but how to move. But generally, the researcher has used the hypothesis, meaning thereby hypothesis and research question cannot be used simultaneously. Is it clear?
Yeah, yes, it is very clear, Prof.
Both should not be used simultaneously. So
Yeah,
this
research
assumption may be
question.
wrong in both of the two can possibly use it simultaneously. So the researcher generally should use the new style is hypothesis. But to make to
Yes,
understand the research question, they will make it out. That is the old style. So taking
yes,
the experience of many researchers, they think that use of the research questions is simple. A change of particular hypothesis from a tentative way and formulate the same into a question and by keeping the question mark. In the research question, there is a question mark, but in the hypothesis, never, because they are the statements. Again, this assumption is absolutely wrong since the application of the research question is made usually to the different significant way in research work or study. The research questions is always significantly used to elaboration of the hypothesis. It is a hypothesis elaboration is a research question. And at that instance, you need not to make it out. For example, a researcher may formulate this teacher is unjust. The researcher may formulate this teacher is unjust. This can be possible hypothesis in research, and therefore the possible research questions as may be formulated based on the same hypothesis taken elaboration in many thus the teacher is unjust. Why? The teacher is unjust in setting the examination questions in the examination paper. He did not teach it, but he asked the question in the examination. Is it not the unjust?
it is very unjust.
And marking the examination papers. See, for the ladies, he will give the more marks. For the gents, he will give the less marks. Is it not the unjust bias?
It is unjust.
So what I do, whenever I'm giving the questions, what I apply it? Lottery. Lottery system. Otherwise, I will be biased. Because I have one in the Immili Dume in each
That
course.
will be bad.
So naturally, I should not do like that. Okay, transparent. Even marking also transparent. That is the ethical value of a lecturer. So marking the examination paper without bias, awarding the marks scores the examination. Yes, the student should score the marks. The marks should not be awarded. Is it clear?
Yes.
Awarded means giving more marks unjustful manner. No, because your paper goes to the third evaluator, and the third evaluator definitely make the remarks. At that time, your name will be tarnished. Hence, you should be very much strict in what you wrote the answer and what marks you deserve it. So the in the above, the indicated points are example of the research questions can be simultaneously used in the same research proposal for the research intended. In short sum, what we want to say is general objective is deemed to be the first hypothesis and specific objective to be reflected as a second, third hypothesis in sequence. The general objective is going to be turned as the first hypothesis, and the specific objective be turned to be the second and third and fourth hypothesis. Never exceed more than 4. I repeat,
Okay.
never exceed hypothesis more than 4. Even I restrict only to the 3. At the almost okay, at the last resort 4. Because your research should be confined only the 6 chapters or 5 chapters only, not 7 chapters, not 8 chapters. Is it clear?
Yes, Prof.
To avoid the confusion, it is better that the researcher should omit the research questions, which is nothing but a specific objectives. The author has mentioned to have an idea that what would be the research questions, and hence it is mentioned in this article as a side heading to have a knowledge to the researcher what the research question is. I mentioned especially to know the student research questions so that they could not keep the blank face. Research questions nothing but the specific objectives, means variables. Am I right?
Yes, Prof.
Now come to the research methodology. The research methodology, every subject having its own methodology. Even every topic is having its own methodology. Depending upon the topic, the methodology will be changed. So method is the way of doing something. Methodology is the science of study of particular subject. The concept of research methodology is much wider. In other words, researchers follow in putting the research is known as the research methodology. How you navigate, how you proceed is the research methodology. In the research methodology, there are various components are there, like following the books, journals, taking interviews, sample questionnaires,